This is the Great Pyramid, the altar to the Lord in the midst of Egypt. Now the distance around the earth where the stone rests is 206. That's right, that's not written correctly there. It's 20,628 miles. So 206 is the width of the Queen's chamber. 206 in Hebrew means the tip or the top, the uttermost principle. And 280 is human gestation. This then leads to the rejected stone of the altar to the Lord, the Great Pyramid. We can place the stone on the summit platform. Then we have an overhang on each side, which has a total overhang area of 313.6 square feet. The number 3136 in Greek is Martha, the wife of Jesus and mother of his twin boys. The Baalbec Stone is locally known as the stone of the pregnant mother. The latitude of the post or hexagonal is 3620, and Greek, it is the word confirmation. So everything that's being revealed here is confirmed by all of these numbers. That's the beauty of it all. What modern man fails to comprehend is how these wonders were conceived, carried out, and then left as a series of miracles worldwide. The angels of the Lord did it all laid out to wait for the smartest minds to attempt to understand it. Modern universities never attribute any science or structure to angels. They insist it was all laid out by aliens. The Bible did not escape man's attention, giving all miracles and wonders to an Old Testament God which is not kind or benevolent or loving, as Jesus demonstrated that the true God was. And so it is that the demonic world has convinced the masses that not only is there no God, there is no Lucifer or demons, and yet Jesus referred to the devil and its devils. Martha was the younger sister of Mary Magdalene. She became the wife of Jesus under the Essene system after his first wife, who was Mary Magdalene, could not conceive a child. She was barren. Under the Essene custom, the younger sister would become the next wife. And today we know who these people are, because they have reincarnated, just as everybody has. And of course Martha is the one reading this ripping yarn to all of you. So what this is all about is the building of a city named Enoch. And here the angels laid it out to prove Martha. Hello! How? We placed the 69-foot long, 14.25-foot wide crossbeam on top of the pyramid, and we have an overhang. And the area of the overhang is 313.6 square feet, and 3136 is Martha in Greek. And that's why in the Revelation, the Archangel Michael gave John a great big clue for today's deceived masses when he, as the messenger, said to John, quoting Jesus, who sent him with the message, I'm Alpha and Omega. What does that mean? It's the first and the last. First and the last of what? The Greek alphabet. The Alpha and the Omega. He's going to be using the entire Greek alphabet and gematria at the time of the end to prove all things regarding himself. Now the top of the pyramid has a square area. There we go, you can see those numbers there. Okay, it's 318,000.127225 square inches, or 2208 square feet. can read that very large number for yourself. While the footprint of the beam is 669.6490625 square feet. This number in pyramid inches is the height of the entrance to the descending passage above the baseline of 669 pyramid inches. And the next drawing is the pyramid. Well, looking down at the top of the pyramid. It's a very simplified drawing. So square in the middle is the top of the pyramid, summit platform, with the Baalbec stone placed across it. Now the area of the shroud in square feet is 51.06, and 5106 in Hebrew is to refuse, forbid, disallow. And of course, go and read the 24 Protocols of Zion. There is just one simple statement in the middle of Protocol 14, which says, "We shall forbid Christ." And the number 14 is Abba, or Father, in English gematria. So, this is what it's all about. It's all about them forbidding Christ, or the knowledge of the Christ going out amongst the earth. Because if the world populace understood that the Christ is already here, he's not turning up on a big white horsey in the clouds, like a phantom or a ghost. No, he is reborn to the earth as the most royal man, a child, a baby, just like you and everybody else. That's the only way onto the earth is through your mother's womb. So if the world knew that, they wouldn't go and fight the Zionist wars. There would be no profit in anything that they have inflicted upon humankind. Their day is drawing to a very quick end. So here's the top view looking down at the Baalbec Stone, which Yahweh has placed across the summit platform of the pyramid, and there it is with an overhang on each side. And the total of the overhang is 313.6 square feet. 3136 is Greek Martha. There it is. Now the total height for the Baalbec Stone, 171 inches high, on top of the pyramid is 5624. That's the pyramid base, 9131.06 pyramid inches times 4 is 36524.24 pyramid inches, and that equals 100 solar years. So when you add the pyramid height to the platform, 5454 pyramid inches and 171 inches, it totals 5625, and the Greek concordance total for the Strong's dictionary is 5,624 words. The actual height up to the capstone, Yahweh has rounded up to 5454, but it is actually 5453.77488 British inches, which in Greek is to germinate, spring up and sprout. The Martha association with Jesus is the woman caught in adultery. Then she was dragged out. Dragged out and presented to that blasphemer, Jesus. Why? Why did they drag me to him? Because it was him that Martha was caught in adultery with. And who was she caught by? Her sister, Mary Magdalene. This is shocking to Christians. Absolutely shocking. Yes. Jesus didn't have a wife. Remember the little 18-year-old girl that threw me out of the church? Jesus didn't have a wife. And the guy that went bananas, what was his name? Doesn't matter. This is all in Fiji, or part of the DVD. Jesus, when confronted with the adulteress situation, he outmaneuvered the Pharisee and Herodian priests who were attempting to have Jesus condemn his own wife, Martha. Mary, her older sister, was Jesus' first wife, but barren, and under Essene law, the man had the right to take the younger sister to bear children. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. The priesthood knew Jesus and Mary Magdalene were man and wife, and she was barren. The situation was an attempt to have Jesus break the laws of Moses. Martha was dragged before Jesus to condemn her, then watch her be stoned to death. Meanwhile, Jesus was drawing in the sand, much like he does today, except that it's with a CAD program on the computer. Jesus stood addressing them, saying, quote, So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her, quoting John 8:7. The whole point was for Jesus to leave offspring for this end time, where he could reincarnate, find Martha, and then establish the kingdom here upon the earth. Actually, it was where he could reincarnate, Martha find him, which is what happened. The Blues Clues. He had to leave all the clues by the angels. Needless to say, the same demonic forces have spread the Pharisee Babylonian Talmud worldwide, which has deeply entrenched layers of secrets, where only those at the top of the Illuminati tree know the plot. It is not to reduce the world population to just 500 million, but to kill all life. All the nations have fallen to Satanists, who invent diseases to kill you, then sell you drugs to lengthen the illness unto finality, death. The various factions consist of believers in the eugenic program. Reduce the population to 500 million and enjoy their elite status. Above them, a very small number of men within them know the ultimate secret. Kill all life and leave the earth as a dead sphere drifting through space, equaling God in all flesh would be dead. Insane, to say the least, but who would have suspected these Satanists would convince of a plan to kill all life, including themselves, and then convince their underlings to believe they will inherit the earth and become God, based on their knowledge, as God has poured himself out into all life. And if they kill all DNA via a plutonium fallout after starting World War III by some lunatic notion, blaming Iran for an act of Iranian terror at the Olympics. This is how stupid they are. Why are they doing it? They know God is back on the earth, the reincarnated Jesus, and they know they face judgment and annihilation if they fail in their attempt to kill all life, meaning anything with DNA. The suppressed Book of Enoch is what it is all about. Enoch predicted the total destruction of the flood. In the Hindi prophecy concerning the return of Jesus as the Father, Jehovah or Yahweh, Lucifer begs the Almighty to spare it from destruction in the flood. The flood was yet to occur, yet Lucifer is aware it is coming, begs a second chance. It argues it is, after all, a creation of God. God allows it to remain, but only as a spirit, not as a living flesh being. The flood occurs, the evil human and the giants are eliminated. Then we have the Hindu story with Noah on board the ark. He sends out a raven. It does not find land. It returns to the ark of Noah. He again sends out the raven. This time it does not return. Noah sends the dove. It returns with an olive branch. The raven flies to an altitude 15,000 feet, and from that height it can see land. The second time it was sent out. It, being Satan by analogy, lands on the island of Colombo, Sri Lanka, located off India.